here. Good morning on day 97, coming from mile marker 1335. When thru hikers meet each other, they ask a lot of the same questions. The number one usually being, where are you from? If you're hiking northbound and you say anywhere in the north, or if you're hiking southbound and say anywhere in the south, people say, oh, you're hiking home. I don't know why. It's people's favorite phrase to say. And now that I'm in the Northeast, crossed into Jersey, and soon coming on New York, I'm hearing that from a lot of people. Really excited to be here. My network is here. I have a lot of friends in the area, so I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks getting to see a lot of different friends and hike together. I'm getting in a quick 8 miles this morning to head to Culver Gap and meet some friends to hike with me for the rest of the day. I am sweating so badly, and it's only 7:30 in the morning. It's not good news. It's going to be a very hot day. True to what New Jersey is known for, we saw our first black bear in the state. You could see him in the middle of the frame. He's just staring right at us. Doesn't seem to be freaked out by our voices, which actually isn't good news. He's just shaking his head and looking at us. Kind of cute. Very cute. We'll see what he does as we get closer. There he goes, walking away from us.
Bye, Schlaf! Bye!
Today ended up being awesome weather. The heat left, the clouds came. It didn't actually rain, although it threatened it. I had a ton of fun hanging out with Lindsay and Jen and Sam. Thanks for coming all the way out here. We got in some good miles, had a great dinner, even saw a bear today, so a pretty eventful one. There's a lot of road crossings in this area and small towns along the AT, but you'd never know it when you come up to these viewpoints that are all just beautiful and green. Hey turtle, you gonna pop back out? The middle of the trail is not a good place for you. You're gonna get poked with a trekking pole. Meet Jake, the donkey slash caretaker of the secret shelter just off the road. There are a lot of bogs and boardwalks in New Jersey. The ground is so squishy and muddy. We'd be sinking if we were walking in it. Even some of these slabs of wood, as you step over them, you feel the buoyancy of them dipping in. Suspension bridges are my favorite kind to come across on trail. They're really beautiful and they're fun to bounce across. This one is pretty sturdy, not too much sway to it. The nostalgia begins. Here comes up Stateline Trail, where I first came onto the AT in New York. This is where I did some hikes with friends on the AT, as well as where I did my shake-off hike. So I bought my gear last summer and early in the fall, and then come October, actually hiked a bit of the trail to test it out, see what worked and what didn't. It was really cool. Excited to be here this week. Crossing into New York. I'm home. We are looking over Greenwood Lake, and up in the right-hand corner of the screen, you can see the silhouette of all the buildings in New York City. So on that north end is Central Park and the south end is Five Eye. Lots of rock scrambles today that would be much more fun if it wasn't pouring. Pretty slippery up here. Yesterday was miserable for me. I had such high hopes for the day. Day 100, first day of summer, walking into New York, woo! It was so cold and so rainy, and there were so many rocks, and it was super slippery, and it was some like technical moves where I was literally having to take my backpack off and shove it so I was able to lift myself up or jump down onto something without it, pulling me back or pushing me forward. And in the end, I was just so sore and honestly just so mad. It was like one of those days where you question, why am I out here? It's pouring rain. I could be like on a couch, warm, eating takeout, watching a movie, but yet I'm out here climbing mountains. But they always say, like, don't get too down, never quit on your worst day. And alas, I woke up this morning a lot less cold, but still cool enough for great hiking weather. The sun is shining, still damp, but drying out actually relatively quickly given the weather, and have some really fun terrain to look forward to today between the Lemon Squeezer, Bear Mountain, and the zoo. And I'm pretty sure that the Bear Mountain Bridge across the river is the low point on the AT. So today's gonna be a better day, whether you like it or not, AT. Entering the Lemon Squeezer. The Lemon Squeezer was not that bad. If I didn't have to take my pack off, my guess is about 90% of people don't. Definitely have to use some arms and get a little wet from the rocks, but it was fun. Less than 800 miles left to Maine. I am into the rock scrambles today. They're pretty fun when it's sunny and not slick. Just made it to Fingerboard Shelter for a second breakfast, a cool stone one. I tried staying here last year during my practice hike, but it was closed for aggressive bear activity, so good to see it's back open. Today on Anything is a Burrito, if you want it to be, mostly peanut M&Ms. Now that we have a much more clear sky day, you can see the Manhattan skyline even better, this time from on top of Black Mountain. I got a hitch the other day, and the man told me that hikers who didn't pray before start when they cross the Palisades, since there's no crosswalk. Although this doesn't look too bad because there's a median between the north and south direction, so you only have to run across 2 lanes of traffic. There is a trail register on the Oasis between the 2 directions of traffic, so you get to take a break from playing Frogger. Wish I had Bill's number to tell him I survived. Schlep has schlepped 1,400 miles. Woo! Getting my first view of the river that I will cross tonight after this next mountain. That looks big. Oof. I have 2 1,000-foot climbs left today. First, Bear Mountain, which I'm starting now, and then Anthony's Nose. Bear Mountain has some really pretty views, and it involves walking a lot of stairs to see them. Made it to the observation tower that we saw from the top of the last mountain. It's about 6:30 in the evening. I still need to pop down Bear Mountain and up and over Anthony's Nose to meet some friends at camp. The elevation has been no joke today and yesterday on the AT. This first half of New York means business. I'm curious to see how my legs feel about the decision to do back-to-back 24s come tomorrow morning. Sadly, it is 8 o'clock at night, so I have to bypass the zoo, which is no longer open, to head over the bridge. Sometimes I think I have good ideas. Other times, deciding to start hiking up and over this mountain 20 minutes before sunset. Maybe not my best. Let's see how this goes. I got into Hemlock Springs late last night. Throughout the day, I was trying to figure out why it was taking me so long to do 24 miles in contrast to previous days, and finally realized it's because there was absolutely no ridge line. Doing those miles in somewhere like Virginia, where you might have one or two bigger climbs throughout the day, and then you have some flat, walking on the ridge line is a lot different than going straight up and down mountains all day for 24 miles. So made sense in the end. Getting into Hemlock Springs had a lot of nostalgia for me. It is the first campsite where I ever camped alone on my practice hike. And I remember getting there early and rushing to make sure I had enough sunlight to set up, which is just hilarious in contrast to showing up yesterday to a bunch of camp friends and it being completely dark. But now, of course, setting up my tent is second nature, so it was not a big deal. Hit up the Appalachian Trail Deli at the road crossing just after Anthony's Nose. You can get your breakfast sandwich and your news. Good morning on day 104. I'm coming off of a 0, feeling nice and rested. I got to hang out at a friend's country house and stare at a beautiful view and soak my feet while in a temperature controlled box, which is nice because today is already a hot one. I'm just a couple miles in and already drenched. Which I feel like is my day-to-day story, so I don't know why that's a surprise. Today's actually going to be a relatively short day. In a couple more miles, I'm meeting some more friends who came up from the city to hike with me, and there's a surprise special guest, so get excited. All right, drum roll, please. The surprise guest is Becky, the one who's been editing all of these videos for me. Hey, Beck.
Yo.
How's it going?
Good. Am I like, how's my framing?
I don't know. You can edit this out if you don't like it.
Okay.
Here you have it, the dynamic duo bringing you that big schlep YouTube page.
That content. Look at my hair. Also, I want everyone to know that today was great, but I was a hot mess.
Yeah, it's not as easy as you think hiking this trail.
No.
Or being on camera and not being super awkward.
I mean, it doesn't look easy. I also came in hungover, so that didn't help. But
she pulled it together.
I did.
Here we are.
I'm the only one here. A bunch of us were
That's
like
true.
hanging out, and I'm the one
Lasted.
I'm the only one ballsy enough to actually camp in the woods. I mean, it's not a big deal. Like, can you like show the shelter?
Yeah, we're hanging out in this shelter tonight, the RPH shelter, which was formerly a cabin, but they pulled the fourth wall off the back to make it an official shelter. So bougie living tonight. There's a privy, multiple tables. There's even a garbage bunk beds in there. So we're not really roughing it.
No, we ate pizza.
We had pizza. Yeah, shout out to Aunt Betsy and the Zimblers for sending some pizza trail magic to the shelter. That was amazing. Lots of happy and full hikers. It's crazy that the views like this are just north of the city. Cool to get a different side of New York. Check out how gigantic this tree is. Bet it would take 4 or 5 people trying to connect their arms across it just to hug it. I'm not sure which is funnier, if it's the farmer's tan on my arm or if it is the dirt tan on my leg when I change from gym shoes to camp shoes at night. It is day 105 and I have just now finally slowly but surely finished making my way through New Jersey and New York. Hiking home was a ton of fun. I loved being able to see friends. Very cool to reminisce on a lot of my practice hike going through the New York section. It's just really cool just for myself to see and reflect on just the progress that I've made from the practice hike up until now, where I am officially 2/3 through the entire trail. Wow. Even just saying that out loud for the first time feels kind of crazy. Tomorrow morning, I will walk into Connecticut and start my final third of the hike in New England, all the way to Maine. So, really looking forward to that. The visitors, again, fun, but I need to pick up these miles and get myself to Katahdin. That is all for this week. I'll catch you next time.